Vigor is the most important stat in all of Elden Ring. I would argue that it's the only stat you actually need to invest in for your character. To prove my theory correct, I went through all of the base game remembrances and the DLC remembrances, and I only invested in that sweet red bar. So was I correct, or will a lack of damage hold us back? There is only one way to find out. Join the Patreon to support the channel. It's the best place to do it. Follow us on Twitch to see us playing some Night Rain live. Check out Tulok the Cardbarian if you like Magic the Gathering, and just check out all the other videos we made. They're really good. Now, let's get healthy. We're kicking it off as a wretch because it's not polluted with a bunch of disgusting stats. Strength, phooey. Mind, garbage. Endurance, I'd actually love some endurance, honestly. Standard starting stuff, imagine having Vigor in Fortnite. We can't because we haven't really started yet. We really don't start until we pound the toes, and then yeah, that's the good stuff. Now we need to get the weapon that we used last time we did this, the Great Stars. I have to use this because this is what we used last time. It's not also my favorite weapon in the game and the only thing keeping me from ejecting the disc, snapping it in half, and choking on the splinters. It also heals 1% of your health every time you hit someone with it. That is a good thing, even when it's not actually the great thing about this weapon. That comes from being a strike weapon, which counters some of the most annoying enemies in the game. Being a great hammer, which has absurdly strong charged R2s, breaking even the biggest bosses in a few hits, and having natural bleed. It's the complete package, and the healing is just a little bit of extra frosting on top of this amazing package. Google putting frosting on your package on your work computer to find out more. If there is a downside, this is a standard weapon, which means a standard field trip to level it up. Crystallian smacked, Onyx Lord shellacked. It's just such a quick and easy process. We're done in less than an hour. Which, hey, you know what else you can do in an hour? Not learn to code. That takes more time, but it goes faster with today's sponsor, Boot.dev. That's right, gamers, this video is sponsored by Boot.dev. Boot.dev is the best way to learn coding. Whether you're trying to learn Python, Java, SQL, Boot.dev has got you covered, and they're doing it in a fun and interesting way. The whole thing plays out like a video game, giving you objectives and quests to complete, experience points that you use to level up, and even an online leaderboard if you are a multiplayer sicko. I appreciate all you multiplayer sickos. I'm guessing you're loving that Night Rain, huh? In many ways, you could look at coding as the Elden Ring of career opportunities. It might seem intimidating at first, but once you get the hang of it, you've got a very rewarding experience ahead of you. According to StackOverflow.com, the median salary for a developer in 2023 was over $100,000. That is a lot of smackaroons, and that can get you a lot of sweet, sweet V-Bucks. I don't know why I'm talking about Fortnite now, but sure. You can also put food on the table and rent. You can pay your rent. Rent is a great thing to do. Also, like Night Rain, you're all in this together. They've got a wonderful Discord community to help you figure out what's going wrong if you're struggling with a lesson, and to help make sure that you're developing properly and communicating about coding. Last thing you want is to get a job in back-end web development and not be able to communicate with your team. All of Boot.dev's lessons are free to read, so you can check it out, see if it's something you're into, and then you can pay for it if you want to do the cool gamified stuff. Check out the link in the description and enter offer code TULOK at checkout for 25% off your yearly subscription. Again, check it out for free, then use the link in the description and enter offer code TULOK at checkout for 25% off your annual subscription. Now, let's get back to one healthy boy.
Life at last, sit and listen while the fun begins.
Margit time, he hits a little hard despite our big meaty health bar for a couple reasons. One, we're naked. That loincloth only protects sensitive viewers from seeing a fat dripping hog. It does nothing to protect our fat dripping hog from Margit's swings. Even worse though, we need Radahnn's Source Heal for +5 to all of our physical stats if we want to wield the Great Stars, which we do because it's quite good. Thankfully, the giant red bar gives us the flexibility we need to take bigger chunks of health. It just means that we have to slurp up a bit more of the red juice. Fighting Godric will be a big help, not right away though. Also, we have to beat him first, and I'm just going full tilt, swinging in with the kind of reckless abandon of someone who gives 0 Fs and fewer S's.
I don't care if I die at all. Everything has sucked lately.
We take a little detour down to the Weeping Peninsula, but who wants to see that? It just means that when we drink juice, we're better at it and don't spill all over the chin anymore. Red Wolf of Radahn is like the opposite of me. Not a lot of health. A dog instead of a person, a spellcaster, and gets to stay in one room and just hang out. Too bad for us. Oh well. I guess if I was serious about wanting to be a dog, there's another content strategy I could pivot and try. For Renala, we hit the kids, then we Wild Strikes her. I guess I probably could have mentioned that we picked up the Wild Strikes Ash of War, but I forgot. Also, it's not the one we're using the whole run. Just gonna get us through the early game because I didn't want to go out of the way for another one. Phase 2 Renala isn't hard at this point. We've got a plus 13 hammer, that's pretty solid. Doesn't really matter if our stats kind of suck. Probably didn't need to do Dragon Barrel bosses, but I just wanted the biggest, reddest bar as possible.
And it was redder than hell.
Yeah, after we beat the Putrid Avatar and Grail, and do it fast enough that the Gold Pickle Foulfoot boost applies to both, our health bar looks like it's about to pop. I don't think Radahn washes himself. Also, Radahn is Moog. I saw him changing in the car. Godric's Great Rune lets us carry a turtle shield on our back for better stamina recovery, so we just run on in and start whacking. He's on a horse, but I'll whack him off if that's the last thing I do. What's that old expression? I'll whack you off in the horse you rode in on? Something like that. I'm not a Western man, I'm a Midwestern man. And frankly, all this talk about whacking seems like none of my business. Volcano Manor means some godskin noble fun. This boss is actually resistant to strike damage. It's like punching a marshmallow. The food, not the EDM guy. I'm not into EDM, but I don't think he should be hit. We just wait for the rollout and then get back to swinging. While the strike damage isn't super effective, the stance pressure still is, and we can break him down very consistently. For Rykard, we use the Serpent Hunter. It would go better if we had some strength or endurance, but it's Rykard. It goes fine. From one manor to another, it's Carrion, and Vigor really do be carrying us, or the Great Stars does both. Yeah, though if two things are carrying you, that might just be a solid build and less of a carry situation. Loretta gets hit a lot. She can't bleed, but to be honest, Great Stars isn't a bleed machine unless you crank your arcane. It's just a great hammer that occasionally makes things bleed and does more damage than that standard great hammer for some reason. It's the spikes. We won't keep Wild Strikes on forever, but it is very funny against NPCs like the Mimic Tier, and they're annoying, so I'll always take the help. The Regal Ancestor Spirit somehow never gets forgotten on these runs, and hey, that's a testament to how much I care about the quality of these videos. I never just finish a stream, think I did everything, and leave a very critical and important boss out of it, especially not one as loved and treasured as the Regal Ancestor Spirit. Astel, oh, I love Astel. What a boss. It's here, you get to attack it. To be totally honest, the first stretch of this game is something I know I can do because I did it when I was worse at the game. And now I'm good at the game, better at the game. That's probably a better way to describe it. Also, Astel straight up folds for us. The drill attack is the easiest punish. He does it, we get the stance break, then after the meteors, he just hits it again. What an idiot, how embarrassing for him. Valiant Gargoyles. Hey, that's the annoying boss I mentioned earlier that's easier with strike damage. The Mimic Tier is fully leveled up, but I forgot to buy a bell. Guess that means I get the no bell prize if I win. No, but the boss fight still goes fine with just us. It would be better if there was two of us, but what wouldn't be better with two versions of yourself? Fia's champs, so glad we have two of us here, and so glad we have Wild Strikes. Really makes the whole thing a joke. Wild Strikes would be better if we had more endurance, but it's fine. We still do all right, just walking forward and swinging this shit. I get a bit more technical in the 3 champ phase, and by that I mean I let the Mimic take aggro so I can cowardly take back shots. Might not be the most honorable, but neither is jumping 2 dudes with 5 guys, unless you're jumping them with some burgers and being like, surprise burger. That would be all right. Next section. Against Godfrey, we mix it up a bit and use the Craig Blade Ash of War. We're actually keeping this on the rest of the run. It gives you more damage and stance pressure. Just overall a boost to the weapon you're using, and hey, that's really good, especially if the boss can't bleed because it's a ghost. Can't stand ghosts. You know, I say it's best against bosses that can't bleed, but it does pretty great against Morgott too. And he can bleed, so, you know, I think it's just really good. 30 minutes later, we're at Fire Giant, and I do it by myself. Summoning the Mimic isn't a big punishment with this much health, but it just never manages to keep up without a horse, so I just kind of run it solo. Big stance pressure, big damage, and big bleed are perfect for big bosses, and they don't come much bigger than Fire Giant. Maybe Ancient Dragon from Dark Souls 3, or the Hot Tub Demon from Dark Souls 2. You don't know what he's packing under that lava. Could be anything. Oh hey, it's the Godskin Duo, a boss that I legitimately like that's so unpopular people assume I'm joking. Nope, this one rocks. This time we have 3 great hammers because us, the Mimic, and Bernie are all just rocking it. 3 dudes with their hogs out, slapping popping marshmallows with them. Classic guy time. Normally this is a race between us and the Spirit Ash and Bernie, but our damage is falling off, especially considering we can't really max out the weapon until after this fight ends because it's standard. Not a problem. Everyone here is very thick in addition to their thick hogs. We actually struggle a bit with Malekith, taking a few L's here and there, probably because I was being a greedy Gus. I know he's got low HP and low posture, but that doesn't mean you can just walk up and wallop him. You have to have a little patience, because if you don't, his percentile damage attacks can melt any health bar, even our big thick red bar. By the time we get to Gideon, our Vigor is maxed out. It's not quite as big as we could get it, but we would need a talisman and a physic tier, and frankly, they're not all that helpful. I'm not trying to make the biggest bar this time, I'm just trying to get through another day, and hey, sometimes getting through the day is enough, alright? Oh, Gideon died. It wasn't hard, but after the fight we just run around, buying every rune arc I'm aware of in the overworld. Horaloo ain't a struggle, he bullies the Mimic. Not us though, we bully him actually, thanks to a very scriptable phase 2, where he grabs the Mimic, and then he grabs the Mimic again. If that was me, I'd be embarrassed. Finally, Radahn. He's a big old boy with a lot of big moves, but we can avoid those and hit him instead. Then charged attack him and stance break him absurdly fast. Craigblade, great hammers, y'all. It's a spicy combo. And since it's a weapon buff, if you want, you can throw on Golden Vow or the Commander Standard boost. Elden Beast can't bleed and loves to just run away a lot. We spend like 4 minutes just running it down over and over and over again. Big pain. Speaking of pain, let's bring that to the bosses while taking a lot of it because we have so much health. Too bad for them.
That's life.
That's life.
Blasidius axes first just because he has the least running to do, and I don't like running actually. I dislike it, it hurts my joints. Been able to swim lately, that's been much better. The stance pressure is so bananas we get a stance break and we're not even halfway through phase 1. Bonk, bonk, and a second stance break, he has not flown away yet. That's maybe less on the stance pressure and more on the lack of damage. We're not doing very much. The dragon doesn't crash into the wall, so we died. Attempt 2, he crashes into the wall, so we win. Commander Nile next, we get frostbitten really quickly. That's actually associated with endurance, I believe. Maybe I'm spreading misinformation, I don't really care. Something gets shown off here, kukris. Since we can't spend our money on anything for stats, I just get really into knives and buy so many knives that I can never run out of knives. They're great for 2 reasons. Number 1, they stop stance pressure from going down. Number 2, they stop bleed buildup from going down. It's pretty good, even though sometimes the Tarnished struggles to throw the dart at the wall. I'm not even talking about hitting the bullseye or even the dartboard. I mean the Tarnished struggles to hit the wall. More on that later. Emphasis on moron. Nerd Juice honestly goes gettably is the word I wrote. I don't know what word I meant, but not good. The dude won't stop. No deaths though. Moog can take a lot of hits since each individual hit doesn't do very much, but he bleeds like, I don't know, I was gonna say a sieve, but I think I said that last video. He bleeds like something with blood in it. Everyone says Moog bleeds really fast, but like, pretty sure if anyone got hit with a giant club covered in spikes, they'd bleed on the first hit. Moog needs 3. We still won. Loretta is made of meat now, which is good for us. She's much more aggressive, does a lot more damage. That's bad for us. But horse legs are very easy to break, something I only know from Elden Ring and not from anywhere else. Fun fact, my name means lover of horses in the original Latin, and bullied in Sunday school in the traditional English after the pastor tells everyone your name means lover of horses. She's just the gatekeeper of Malenia, and folks, can I just say, this is why they're called the Great Stars. We're breaking her down, we're making her bleed, we're avoiding most of the ducky dance, sometimes. I mean, not all the time, what am I, good at this game? Then we get a pretty nasty healing spiral, and she just spams the ducky dance like she forgot she had other moves. If she does, she's not aware of them. Phase 2, she decides to no longer have breakable stance. Either that or just super armored every time she should have had her stance broken. Apparently there's a mechanic where when she does that, when she decides to hit a super armor move when her stance would break, it just resets to 0. So that sucks. Attempt 2, we bring the Mimic tier. It goes better. Not because there's a distraction, just because there's a second person keeping her stance from depleting. Also, I remember to throw kukris while she's in the onion. Bleed, crit, then another big crit. We would have gotten a third crit if they always worked against her. She hits an onion, then a second onion. We keep throwing knives the whole time and get the win. Raw talent. Time to get healthy in the DLC.
Do it healthy.
There are several items that boost your health and vigor, and hey, I've never looked into what those say about the lore and the story and the meaning of that story. The Crimson Amber medallion's full of sap from the Erd Tree. Yeah, that's what's in the flask, so that makes sense. Okay, maybe the Crimson Spill tier has a little more info, and yep, that just says it gives you more health. Great Stars heals you on attacks, that's vigor related. The item description says it's an ill omen, so I guess it's kind of related to the omens, but if it is, then that's just a pun, and none of the omens use it, so pretty sure it's not, and it's just saying when a guy charges at you with a spiked club, that's probably bad. I think they just put some basic health boosting gear in the game because the game is harder than Portland cement after it sees other Portland cement in a G-string. You know, I always knew we'd hit a point where I'd run out of things to talk about in the media literacy section, so it's weird that it happened at the same exact time I feel a ton of burnout towards this game and started playing another game I like more. Anyway, here's the bosses we fought on the way to the Shadow Tree fragments. Ancient Dragon Man, I just hit him and hope that he doesn't stun lock us into a jumping attack that makes him invincible. He doesn't. That's great. Jagged Peak Drake is halfway up the mountain on the least jagged part of the mountain, and it's a wyvern, I think. I'm not one of those nerds who cares about different dragon types. They're not real. You can't be right or wrong about them. Base game, the damage is fine enough. Even Malenia isn't that bad, but in the DLC, every fight gets to be really, really long. Golden Hippopotamus is a golden hippopotamus that you can hit with your big stick. So far, this is the only DLC thing I've seen in Night Rain, so that's kind of weird. Jory sucks, and I hate her. The low damage makes the fight go on longer, but look at the bright side. At least she isn't in Night Rain. Here's the bosses that matter. Gaius is always the first remembrance boss since he's blocking 5 of the fragments we need. He's also a flailing monster with so many attacks that seem like they just don't stop. It takes about 10 minutes of attempts since we're not really hurting him until we get a bleed or a crit. Great Stars with Craigblade is pretty good at doing both of those things, but that's really all we're doing, and that's all the damage. Each hit in between is just chip. It takes a while for us to get this done. Mesmer next for the simple reason we're sprinting to Radahn while we still have rune arcs. You might notice we don't have an activated rune arc right now because we don't. Very astute of you. You looked at the top corner of the screen. That also means though to stay in medium load we have to take our pants off. There are some pretty major penalties to handling a big snake with your pants off. First, you're obviously more exposed and likely to feel that burning sensation. But also, we don't have the good poise number. 53 is the good poise number for some reason, and bad poise is worse than good poise, shocker. Our goal is to bleed and stance break, and we kind of get that to work. Romina right after, and she's pretty easy, comparably. Also, now that I've played some Night Rain, I gotta say, Romina has big Night Rain boss energy. Not sure why. A brief tour of Emir Anus, and then we get ready for our fight against Radahn. Shockingly, he's the biggest problem. The best way to kill him is fast. Do it fast, because if you don't do it fast, you're in Hitbox Fuckland for longer. If you're thinking about visiting Hitbox Fuckland, expect a bunch of hitboxes that fucking exist somewhere, and that somewhere is everywhere. You're in Hitbox Fuckland, dumbass. What did you expect? I do sort of love the idea of a tourist destination where everyone's really hostile to you, like Dick's Last Resort, but it's like a whole resort, not like, just a restaurant. All this extra HP doesn't do much for you when Hitbox Fuckland is working overtime to demolish it. Yeah, this one's rough, but also I wasn't fighting him at my full potential. I forgot about a little pond I call the Clit Pond. It's just a little pond north of Morth Ruins, and right at the tip, there's an entrance to the cave with a Shadow Tree fragment. It's also how you get to Templetown Ruins, and embarrassingly, that's the fragment I missed. I deserve a thorough roasting for that. This is also where we can grab the Two-Handed Talisman, which will boost our damage at the expense of the Two-Headed Turtle and our stamina recovery. Then a little trip to Raya Lucaria will get us the Blue Glint Blade, so we can make our Great Stars cold with Craigblade. Extra Frostbite gives us extra damage, should make this all a little easier, even though we ran out of rune arcs. So we gotta do it without pants. Still takes about 45 minutes to get the winning run. Probably should have saved more of those rune arcs, but hey, you gotta spend them sometime. That's 2.5 hours total on Radahn, or a quarter of the entire run, floundering at one boss. Yikes. I've gotten the stance pressure down pretty well though, timing it so we can lead off phase 2 with a nice big crit. That's 2 free hits of frost and bleed buildup. I'm getting greedy and going for a lot of charged heavies. Yes, does get me punished almost every time. However, the Great Hammer weapon category puts extra pressure on those extra big charged attacks. It really is worth it. Remember, you want to beat Radahn fast, or else you have to spend more time in hitbox fuckland. Kukri are amazing for pressure, not because they build it, but because they stop it from depleting. You can even hit him in the air if you had any accuracy. That wouldn't have hit it. That would not have hit him where he was. God damn it. Yeah, so remember how I said sometimes the Tarnished struggles to throw a dart at a wall and not just the dart board? We missed so many Kukris over the 2.5 hours we were doing this. Didn't miss this one though. The Kukri kill! The Kukri kill. It's so clean. Yo, we're having a great time. Well now, everything kind of feels a little anticlimactic after this, like, okay, Dancing Lion after Radahn, how will he do it? I even started to doubt a little bit. Am I gonna narrate it? I don't know, like, am I gonna write this in the script? Am I gonna write this fight in the script, or am I gonna be like, and then we did all of the other bosses? Rest assured, everyone, I did my job. See? This is the part where we killed Renala. Look at her health bar hit 0. This is the part where we killed the Putrescent Knight. Look at its health bar hit 0. This is the part where we beat Methir. Watch the health bar hit 0. Midra is a little bit worth talking about. We have the lowest mind you can possibly have and constantly get hit with the madness. Do I really need to say anything beyond that? Is it interesting beyond that? No, not really. Ran out of steam making the end of this video, so hey, here's the Midra kill. Bale kill. Hey, it's probably pretty bad news when Bale isn't fun for me, right? It's another Kukri kill, God bless them daggers. And finally, the Shadow Tree kill right here. There we go. Every remembrance boss beaten, Vigor only.
They forgot about me.
Oh yeah, I forgot to do Fortis Axe. Oh, and we already started the next run on top of the save file. Okay, not really. I strive to be honest. I just forgot to do Fortis Axe. Didn't realize that until after. Just didn't want to do it. You know what? More honesty. I remembered I forgot Fortis Axe. I declared it. I said I was skipping Fortis Axe because I didn't want to do all the chores you have to do to fight Fortis Axe. Here though, I can describe what it would be like. I know what it would be like. It's annoying. You can't lock onto the toes. We use dashing heavies because of their wide swing. Hey, can we talk about how you can lock onto Ancient Dragonfeet and Night Rain and how it makes them 200% more reasonable as bosses? That's pretty neat. Night Rain's great. Follow me on Twitch. Play Night Rain with me. Join the Patreon to support the channel. It's the best place to do it. And you also get to join the Discord where you can meet up with other Fortnite enthusiasts and play some Night Rain. Finally, check out Tulok the Cardbarian if you like Magic the Gathering. That's where we're building commander decks using commanders you hardly know.